Stay.
Don't insult my courtesy.
Gave you my name. All our sakes!
This shit over with.
Idea. You took a deal. Family? You've made. I don't know. Not enough.
All right, Coach. Then get out of here.
You know I...
You owe John Wick now. Leave.
The only dead... I...
Step aside.
Get out.
Secure.
My father. Me.
A guy with a dog. Said that is that. One. And. But what's if I.
Of kind?
Yeah, Pugan gotcha.
Wasn't personal.
Welcome to La Resistance, John. I'm branching out.
Q&A.
Kevlar front to back. But after all, man has to look his best.
Forgive me, sir.
To live for. John Wick has none of these things. But a blind man. Mr. Wick will never make it.
Comprendo.
For all you street.
Know the beat of the street.
I've been asked to relay
Our little slice of paradise, sacred heart. If you want the prize, you must.
hit goes out. There is nowhere to run. XIA. The
I thought you'd never ask. Know a guy who knows a guy who shot no muzzle flip, fiber optic trigger, and for those. Here we are, gentlemen.
When I was burying Sherrod, a few words to sum up an modern friend.
But why don't you?
Jonathan, for all our sakes, that's what I want on mine.
We have a sighting.
I think it's high time we pay.
Like our friends at the guild.
Should be asking? See it? Is that if it's your job?
Our wicked friend.
You have a deal.
You pay for the service.
News, buppers.
is almost out of time. So who out there is going to climb those?
John? To get to the top of those stairs.
Yeah.
9.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the adrenaline-fueled, bullet-riddled world of John Wick Chapter 4, a film that proves our favorite Baba Yaga still has plenty of fight left, even after all that dog walking. We'll break down every bone-crunching moment, every impossible headshot, and every subtly sarcastic remark that makes this franchise an absolute legend. So grab your preferred weapon, or maybe just some popcorn, and let's recap how John tries, once again, to finally get his retirement package. John is still recovering, probably thinking about what kind of exotic tea he'd like when this whole mess is over, but the high table isn't done with him. Enter Marquis Vincent de Gramont, a man whose fashion sense is only outmatched by his ego and penchant for being absolutely ruthless. He strolls into the desert, finds the actual elder, the high table's literal old-timer, and promptly decides that the best way to prove you're in charge is to, well, execute him. It's a power move, all right? A bit like showing up to a potluck with a store-bought cake and telling everyone else theirs isn't up to snuff. The metallic clang of the Marquis's watch as he gives the order underscores his cold resolve. This guy means business, and his business is apparently making John Wick's life even more complicated, which, frankly, I didn't think was possible. Meanwhile, John Wick, ever the globetrotter, heads to the Osaka Continental. It's run by his buddy Shimazu Koji, a fellow man of impeccable style and lethal skills. Koji's daughter, Akira, is also part of the family business, and she's not just there for show. She's got a deadly aim with a bow. You know, just in case a regular bow and arrow wasn't already deadly enough, Akira makes it art. The quiet reverence of their greeting, a nod to shared history and respect, is almost unnerving because we all know what happens when John Wick shows up. Trouble, usually with a side of flying bullets and shattered glass. The ornate beauty of the Osaka Continental, with its traditional Japanese architecture, suddenly feels like a very expensive, very breakable target. It's like bringing a bull into a china shop, but the bull is John, and the china shop is full of assassins. And just like clockwork, the party crashers arrive. Chidi, the Marquis' chief enforcer, struts in with his goon squad, looking like he just stepped out of a highly aggressive fashion show. He politely, and by politely I mean menacingly, informs Shimazu that John Wick is effectively high table property, and he's there to collect. Shimazu, being the stand-up guy he is, tells Chidi exactly where he can stick his demands, which isn't exactly in the spirit of cooperation, but totally on brand for the Wickverse. The tension builds like a pressure cooker about to explode, the air thick with unspoken threats. You can almost hear the uh-oh ringing in the beautifully designed lobby. It's a classic standoff, where politeness is just a thin veil over the promise of extreme violence, and everyone knows it. Well, negotiation clearly wasn't on the high table's menu. What was on the menu, however, was a full-blown assault. The Osaka Continental Lobby, a masterpiece of quiet elegance, transforms into an arena of death faster than you can say excommunicado. John, Shimazu, and Akira unleash hell on the Marquise's forces. We're talking swords clashing with a metallic clang, the rapid-fire pop of silenced pistols. And John Wick, because he's John Wick, even pulls out nunchucks. A truly iconic moment. It's a beautifully choreographed symphony of destruction. Every swing, every parry, every precise headshot feels like a beat in this violent opera. The sounds are just as impactful as the visuals. The thwack of a nunchuck, the whoosh of a blade, the guttural grunts of combatants. It's glorious, gruesome, and exactly what we came for. As the melee continues, Akira takes to the high ground, literally. She's up there, raining down arrows with a precision that would make Legolas blush. The thwip of her bowstring is followed by the sickening thud of an arrow finding its mark, often pinning unfortunate goons to pillars or walls. It's a brutal yet elegant form of defense, showcasing not just her skill, but also the deep loyalty she shares with her father and John. She's not just shooting arrows, she's orchestrating a deadly aerial ballet. Meanwhile, John and Shimazu are still down in the thick of it, moving like human blenders, turning high table thugs into very confused, very dismembered statistics. The sheer volume of attackers is astounding. It's like they had a bad guy buffet. And everyone showed up. Just when you think John might get a breather, he finds himself in the steamy, metallic confines of the Osaka Continental Kitchen. And because this is John Wick, the kitchen isn't for cooking. It's for creative dismemberment. Pots, pans, knives, everything becomes a weapon. The clatter of falling cookware mixes with the smack of John's fists and the thud of bodies hitting the linoleum. It's a cramped, claustrophobic ballet of brutal efficiency. You can almost feel the heat and humidity, hear the sizzle of something that's definitely not food. John is a whirlwind of motion, turning a culinary space into a carnage zone, proving once again that he can turn anything into a deadly instrument. Maybe the high table should have just ordered takeout instead. The fight spills into the beautifully tranquil Japanese garden, which of course becomes anything but tranquil. Shimazu, ever the loyal friend, faces off against Chidi in a magnificent yet heartbreaking sword duel. The clang of their blades reverberates through the garden, a stark contrast to the gentle rustle of leaves. It's a masterclass in swordsmanship, a beautiful and brutal dance. But Chidi, with his cold, efficient ruthlessness, proves too much, and Shimazu, in a truly noble act of sacrifice, falls defending John. The silence after the final blow, broken only by the mournful wind, is deafening. John Wick loses another friend, and the look in his eyes tells you that Chidi just signed his own death warrant, probably in triplicate. Akira witnesses her father's death, and her face hardens with a chilling resolve for vengeance. With the Osaka Continental reduced to a war-torn ruin, John makes his escape, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a new enemy in his wake. Akira, her heart heavy with grief but blazing with vengeance, confronts John. She makes it explicitly clear that she will seek out and kill Kane, whom she mistakenly believes is responsible for her father's death, though Kane was forced by the Marquise. It's a chilling promise delivered with a quiet intensity that speaks volumes. You can feel the weight of her resolve, the unwavering certainty that she will have her revenge. John, ever the harbinger of complicated situations, now has another person caught in his web of violence, and the ripple effects of his war against the high table continue to spread. Next stop for our man John is Berlin, where he's on a mission to track down Killa, a rather large and aggressively eccentric German high table member. Killa, by the way, is exactly the kind of guy who'd name himself Killa. He's got that energy. John finds him in a thumping, neon-lit nightclub that looks like a rave threw up on a casino. The bass vibrates through your chest, making it hard to think, which is probably Killa's preferred state of affairs. John navigates the pulsating crowd, a stone-faced predator in a sea of hedonism. It's a stark contrast to the elegant brutality of Osaka, but no less dangerous. The air is thick with smoke and desperation, setting the stage for yet another inevitable confrontation. Honestly, at this point, clubs should probably just ban John Wick from entering. In the midst of Killa's chaotic club, John spots a familiar face, Kane, a blind assassin who's not just good, he's terrifyingly good. Kane is casually playing cards, looking like he's just there for a quiet Tuesday night, despite being surrounded by killers. Kane and John share a past, and it's clear Kane is only working for the high table because his daughter's life hangs in the balance, a classic "darn it, they got my family" trope. The flick of a card, the subtle shift in Kane's posture, every detail hints at the immense skill and underlying tension. It's a tragic setup, two legends forced to potentially cross swords against their will. You just know that any forced alliance for a hitman is going to go badly, for everyone except the one giving the orders. When John finally corners Killa in his exclusive, bulletproof, glass-encased VIP area, things predictably go from 0 to, oh dear, someone's going to need a new spine. Killa, despite his imposing size, is surprisingly agile and quite the pugilist. The fight is a whirlwind of smacks, crunches, and thuds as John battles Killa and his numerous equally enthusiastic bodyguards. There's a moment where John actually uses a pool ball as a weapon because why not? It's resourceful, it's painful, and it's quintessentially John Wick. The cacophony of the club's music somehow amplifies the sounds of combat, creating a bizarrely rhythmic violence. It's an intense, brutal confrontation, made even more complicated by Kane's reluctant involvement. Good luck getting that deposit back on the club, Killa. Deflecting John's attacks with a whoosh of a stick and a precise clack of a block. The amazing thing is how he uses his blindness. It's not a weakness, it's a superpower. He's listening, feeling, anticipating every move. He takes down a few of John's immediate threats, but strategically avoids a lethal blow against John himself, a silent testament to their past bond. It's a heartbreaking display of forced loyalty, where friendship and duty collide with deadly consequences. He's basically giving John a get-out-of-jail-free card, but with more broken bones. With Killa dispatched, permanently one assumes, John seeks out Katya, a powerful figure within the Ruska Roma, his old crime family. To be reinstated and get their help, John has to endure a brutal test of loyalty, being branded. It's not exactly a pleasant spa treatment, but John takes it like the champ he is. The hiss of the hot iron, the clench of John's jaw. It's a visceral moment that reinforces his commitment. This isn't just about getting a new tattoo. It's about regaining his identity, his lineage, and most importantly, protection. With the Ruska Roma's backing, John now has a shot at officially challenging the Marquis to a duel under the high table's ancient rules, which, for John, is basically the only way to avoid being hunted forever. Finally, a glimmer of hope, albeit one covered in fresh burns. John, now with his fresh new branding and a renewed sense of purpose, meets Winston in a rather gothic church. Because where else would you discuss deadly duels in high-table politics? Winston, in his usual calm and collected manner, explains the incredibly specific, super fussy rules of challenging the Marquis to a duel. It involves an official representative, a lot of paperwork. Okay, maybe not paperwork, but definitely a lot of tradition, and the understanding that if John loses, he's extra super duper dead. Winston, ever the master chess player, lays out the high stakes and the almost impossible odds. The echo of their voices in the cavernous church adds to the gravity of the situation. It's a tense planning session where every word could mean life or permanent retirement. It's basically a cosmic game of would you rather, but with more bullets. As soon as the Marquis gets wind of John's formal duel challenge, he responds in the most logical way possible for a villain. He puts an even bigger, more ridiculous bounty on John's head. We're talking millions, and everyone and their hitman uncle wants a piece of this action kind of bounty. News spreads through the underworld like wildfire, turning John Wick into the ultimate, most wanted poster boy. Every low-level thug, every seasoned assassin, every aspiring killer sees dollar signs. The buzz of phones, the hushed whispers. In dark alleys, it's a global call to arms, or rather, a global call to collect a massive paycheck. This isn't just a bounty. It's an invitation to a citywide, real-life battle royale, and John is the last man standing in his own mind, even if everyone else wants him down. Poor guy just wanted a quiet life. Now he's a walking ATM for assassins. With a bounty this massive, of course, new players enter the game. One of them is Tracker, or Mr. Nobody, a very pragmatic assassin who's less about personal vendettas and more about maximizing profit. He's got an incredibly smart, incredibly vicious German shepherd that he uses to, well, track people. The whine of the dog, the rustle of leaves as they stalk, every sound heightens the sense of being hunted. Tracker isn't exactly a villain. He's more of a neutral evil, observing John from a distance, calculating the odds and the payday. He's not trying to kill John out of spite, but for the sheer financial opportunity, which, in the John Wick universe, is actually kind of refreshing. It's like watching a deadly, high-stakes accounting firm at work. We get a brief, poignant glimpse into Kane's life, seeing him interact with his daughter. It's a stark reminder that this seemingly cold, blind assassin is a human being with a profound, heartbreaking reason for hunting John. His every move, every reluctant act of violence, is fueled by the love for his child, held hostage by the high table. The soft murmur of his daughter's voice, the gentle touch of his hand, these sensory details cut through the brutal action, showing the heavy emotional burden he carries. It's a classic setup for tragic heroism, and it explains why he's so darn good at fighting John without actually killing him. You feel for the guy, truly. He's trapped between a rock and a hard place, and both places are trying to kill John Wick. John finally makes it to Paris, the city of love. But for John, it's the city of, oh look, more people trying to kill me. The bounty has turned every nook and cranny of Paris into a potential ambush site. He's immediately swarmed by assassins because, naturally, they all want a piece of that sweet, sweet bounty money. John fights his way through a multi-story building, using every structural element as a weapon or shield. The shatter of glass, the impact of a body against a wall, every sound is raw, immediate, and utterly painful. It's a relentless, desperate struggle, highlighting John's sheer endurance. You'd think after a few hundred failed attempts these guys would get the memo, but alas, the promise of money makes people incredibly stubborn and incredibly bullet-ridden. Winston, having lost his Continental in his position, isn't out of the game. He meets with the Marquis, ostensibly to discuss the terms of John's duel, but really he's playing three-dimensional chess, while the Marquis is still figuring out checkers. Winston is trying to leverage the duel rules to John's advantage, knowing full well that his own life hangs in the balance. The hushed tones of their negotiation in a grand Parisian setting highlight the gravity of the stakes. He's not just bargaining for John. He's fighting for a way back into his own power, showcasing his political prowess. It's a high-stakes conversation where veiled threats and cunning maneuvers are the true weapons. Winston truly is the silent MVP, pulling strings like a master puppeteer. At a tense high-table summit, John's chosen representative, aided by the ever-dramatic Bowery King, officially confirms the duel challenge. The air is thick with anticipation and thinly veiled hostility. This isn't just a challenge, it's a sacred ancient right that even the Marquise can't fully override. The solemn declaration of the representative, the weight of the room's silence, it all adds to the gravity of the situation. It's a moment of truth, where John is finally playing by the high table's own rules, daring them to deny him his justice. Of course, the Marquis still has a few tricks up his impeccably tailored sleeve, like making sure John has to race across all of Paris to even make it to the duel on time. Because a fair fight is just too boring, apparently. With the duel set for dawn at Sacré-Cœur, John finds himself in a literal race against time and against every assassin in Paris. The Marquis, being the rule-bender he is, puts an ever-increasing bounty on John's head every minute he's late. This forces Kane, still under duress, to protect John, ironically, long enough for him to reach the duel, because Kane is the Marquis' champion. And if John doesn't show, the Marquis just wins by default. The blare of car horns, the whoosh of near misses, the constant pop, pop, pop of distant gunfire. It's a sensory overload. It's a desperate dash through the heart of Paris, turning picturesque boulevards into battlefields. Talk about a morning commute from hell. The absolute highlight of this frantic race is the iconic Arc de Triomphe sequence. John Wick, Kane, and what feels like half of Europe's assassin population engage in a full-blown car-fu ballet right in the middle of a bustling traffic circle. Cars are smashing, people are flying, and John is using vehicles as both weapons and shields. The crunch of metal, the screech of tires, the rat-a-tat of automatic gunfire. It's a symphony of vehicular chaos. John even takes a moment to do some very specific close-quarters combat inside a car as it spins in circles, because, again, John Wick. It's a visually stunning, utterly insane sequence that redefines rush hour traffic. Good luck to the Parisian insurance. Then we arrive at the infamous Sacré-Cœur staircase. This isn't just a staircase, it's Mount Everest for assassins. John, battered and bruised, tries to ascend, only to be repeatedly knocked down, literally rolling and tumbling what feels like 1,000 steps. The thud of his body hitting each step, the grunts of pain, the crack of his bones. It's a visceral, exhausting ordeal. But because he's John Wick, he doesn't stay down. He slowly, agonizingly begins to climb again, fighting every single step of the way against an endless stream of attackers. It's a testament to his sheer willpower and resilience. You're left gasping for breath just watching him. It's basically the ultimate, I just need to make it to the top moment, times a million. Talk about a bad leg day. Against all odds, as the first rays of dawn pierce through the Parisian skyline, John Wick, a bleeding, bruised, but unbowed mess, finally drags himself to the top of the Sacré-Cœur stairs. He's made it just in the nick of time for his duel. The gasp for breath, the strained steps. Every movement screams exhaustion, yet his eyes still hold that unbreakable spark. The rising sun casts a golden glow on his weary face, making him look less like a man and more like a myth. It's a moment of profound triumph, earned through sheer, unimaginable willpower. You almost want to cheer, but you remember this is John Wick, so more trouble is definitely on the horizon, probably in the form of a formal pistol duel. Because, just running a marathon of death wasn't enough, and so the moment we've all been waiting for, The Duel. John Wick versus Kane, a brutal and tragic confrontation between old friends, forced by circumstance. The Marquise, ever the showman, presides over the affair, smugly confident in his victory. The duelists stand back to back, facing the sunrise, before turning and taking their shots. The crack of the pistols echoes through the morning air, sharp and definitive. Each shot is a blow, not just to the body, but to their shared history. Kane, despite his loyalty to his daughter, fights with a heavy heart, his shots precise, aimed to incapacitate, not necessarily to kill. John takes hit after hit, a testament to his almost superhuman endurance. It's a heartbreaking dance of duty and friendship, where every pulled trigger hurts both the shooter and the target. After several rounds, John is heavily wounded, seemingly defeated. Kane has fulfilled his duty, delivering what appears to be a fatal shot. But the Marquis, blinded by his own hubris, decides to deliver the final, killing blow himself, wanting to savor the moment of John Wick's demise. He takes the pistol, saunters over to John, and raises the weapon, a smirk playing on his lips. The click of the hammer, the pregnant pause before the shot. The tension is unbearable. He's so sure of his victory, so utterly convinced that he's won. Marquis, you absolute amateur. You never ever let your guard down when John Wick is around. It's like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. You're just asking for trouble. And in a move that only John Wick could pull off, our man wasn't quite as dead as the Marquis thought. With a sudden burst of energy, John pulls out his actual last bullet, a hidden pistol, and delivers a point-blank headshot to the Marquis. The thwack of the bullet, the shock on the Marquis' face, it's a moment of pure, unadulterated, satisfaction. The high table members gasp, utterly stunned by this unexpected twist. John Wick, the ultimate underdog, has beaten the system, using its own archaic rules against it. The duel is over. John is free. The weight of the world seems to lift, if only for a moment. It's the ultimate mic drop, but with more cranial trauma. After his final, triumphant act, John Wick, spent and mortally wounded, slowly collapses onto the steps of Sacré-Cœur. His loyal dog, now by his side, nudges him gently. He looks out at the rising sun, a peaceful expression on his face, as if finally, after all these years, he has found the peace he so desperately sought. The gasp of his last breath, the stillness of his body, it's a poignant, somber ending to a brutal saga. He's free, but at the ultimate cost. It's a moment of quiet reflection, a man who lived by the sword finally putting it down. A fitting end for the Baba Yaga, at least for now. Months later, we see Winston and the Bowery King standing over John's grave, a quiet testament to a man who truly was a legend. His loyal dog is there, too, a silent guardian. They reflect on his legacy, a man who fought for his freedom until his last breath. The rustle of leaves, the distant hum of city life, these subtle sounds underscore the quiet finality of the scene. It's a thoughtful send-off for a character who redefined action cinema. But wait, there's a post-credits sting. Akira, still driven by vengeance, approaches Kane, confirming her vow. The sharp whisper of her warning, the clench of Kane's face. It's a chilling reminder that the cycle of violence in this world never truly ends. Even with John gone, the repercussions of his war continue to echo. Perhaps true peace is a myth in this universe, or maybe it's just something you have to keep fighting for, even beyond the grave. And that, my friends, is where John Wick's epic, bone-shattering, endlessly rewatchable journey for now comes to a close. If you had a good time with this, like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more.
at the guild.
Should be asking? See it? Is that if Mr. John?
Our wicked friend.
You have a deal.
You pay for the service.
News, buppers.
We're almost out of time. So who out there is going to climb those?
John? To get to the top of those stairs.
Yeah.
9.
You're right. Motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. Consequences.
Have fun out there? Fire!
Oh, nice. Those who
That's just.
Wait.
You're satisfied, John Wick.
As are you and your daughter, manager.
You own